gentlemen, next plays Blair Herter! How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me.
Congrats on emerging from your man cave to talk about the reason you've been sequestered.
My room's placenta dripping off of me right now.
I hope it's the room.
Pregnancy joke. Your girlfriends are going to have it at some point. Sorry, Kevin, what were you saying?
Not if they're my girlfriend. Solved. DC Universe Online, console MMO. You are in love with this game. You're totes best friends.
Yep. Bestie. Friendship bracelets.
What's the deal? Give me the setup here.
Well, basically, Brainiac's a dick.
Okay.
And future Luther, I call him Futher. I won't say that again. Thank you, Candace Bailey.
Yeah. We'll fix that one.
Future Luther comes back into the present and says, hey, guys, the only way we're going to solve this problem is to give everyone superpowers. So now you create your own hero or villain, and you now have superpowers in the present to fight a future Brainiac who is, in fact, a dick.
Okay, so they managed to make sense out of all of a sudden everybody's a superhero, and you're buying.
Oh, no biggie. This is what happens.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, here's my issue with the game. I spent 5 hours with the game. That's it. So this is it.
Right.
4.5 of those were patching, upgrading, installing, and I get that from the PC side of things, I'm used to that. But on the console experience, especially on a PS3 where everything seems to be slower than humanly necessary, it was just kind of a broken experience. And then the moment I get into the game, there were 500 choices to make. I felt inundated. Is that just because I'm a relative noob to MMOs in general?
Well, I think to speak to the update thing, I hadn't turned on my PS3 in quite some time. Not because I download stuff, Sarah Jean, although you can't spank me because I have been naughty because I'm America. But I think I can't speak to the updates. I think the game itself is a fairly sizable game. You're right, it does download a lot slower than I think we're used to with like a Blizzard updater that just runs in the background constantly. But I do agree with you that as much as I feel this is a very accessible action RPG, I don't think the entry point is quite what they were going for. They wanted to bring people into MMOs that weren't necessarily familiar with MMOs. And like you said, if you don't understand a menu system like as robust as this, or you don't understand skill trees, or even for that matter, a map and objectives and checkpoints.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're looking at your screen thinking that's a game of reverse eye for a second there, that's not. That is literally putting skill points into attributes, which could be confusing for the noob. But if you're not, you've invested hours in this. You have multiple characters. You want to reveal one of the names right now?
I don't.
Okay, that's smart move. Smart move.
Yes.
What is so compelling about this that keeps you coming back?
Well, I think that, there's quite a few things that I like about the game, but the one I love the most is that as a DC Universe fan, the fact that they got guys like Marv Wolfman and Jim Lee and Jeff Johns on board that continue to generate content, it feels like you're actually playing, not only playing in the DC Universe, but you're making a difference and contributing both to the universe that's been established and to your own lore. I do feel like I am a superhero in this universe, and I'm creating my own legend, and I think that's what they're going for right there. I don't have sparkly flyers on my ankles like that, but I am
I'm assuming you're going to go home and re-roll, so you have that.
Because that looks awesome.
I mean, there are some cool powers. I do like the ability, like the level 1 right away. If you want to fly, go for it. Why not?
Which is incredible. And if somebody who's played Warcraft, you know, back when I started playing Warcraft, it took 60 levels to get an epic mount where you can fly a lot faster.
Right.
This, it's like level 7. So they're bringing people in that weren't necessarily familiar with MMOs, but as you said, the interface is not necessarily as easy as it should be.
Yeah, the interface I was a little burdened by, having come from World of Warcraft. I go, okay, this is clearly a PC interface on the controls, but what about the actual gameplay? Using a PS3 controller to move around, to fight, to do combos. Did you enjoy that?
It feels fantastic. I mean, again, playing MMOs for as long as I have, as long as you have, physics-based combat in an MMO, it feels fantastic. I myself am used to mapping a long-range attack on a right trigger, and you can do that on this game. So for me, it makes sense to play. I don't have any experience with the PC version, but from a console standpoint, I think they've done a really good job of translating that MMO experience over into the console world.
And what about communication? If I'm in this world and I'm grouping up with people and we're going to defeat bad guys everywhere, how are we actually communicating? Do you put down markers? Can you voice chat?
Yeah, I mean, you start your own league, which is essentially your guild, and quest, and you use the PlayStation 3 headset. I got to be honest with you, not the easiest thing in the world to figure out. Only online entertainment. Maybe we can make that a little easier.
Do you need a lozenge?
Yeah, it's just
were you just calling out a major corporation?
I was not, because we love them. We love them on X-Play. They're our favorite. But the communication. Keep in mind that I started playing this game a couple days before it actually went retail. So a lot of the questions that typically you can find an answer for online, I didn't have the opportunity to look up. I have found later on that it's a little easier to group and the communication's a little better. I will say that if you're somebody who's played MMOs on a PC and you're used to texting, obviously a controller interface, Bluetooth wireless keyboard does work for this game.
Okay, fantastic.
But you're really going to want to do it with the headset.
Well, I praise them for trying to bring the MMO experience to a console. It's been a long time coming.
Absolutely.
You seem to enjoy it. I'm going to definitely give it another shot based off your recommendation. But $15 a month. That's quite the fee on the console side of things.
Yeah.
People aren't necessarily used to that. So with $15 a month and in the minor gripes, what are you giving it, and do you recommend it?
Well, XPlay gave it a 4 out of 5. I will say for $15 a month, they've already announced 2 pretty significant content packages that they're going to release. I don't think they're going to charge for that. And I take it as like I'm paying $15 a month for a comic subscription. So from my standpoint, I don't mind paying the $15 a month.
Right.
But I do think for the people bringing a WoW player over to this, they're going to have to really start cramming in more content, raise the level cap pretty quickly if they're going to want to bring those players over.
I love it. Blair Herter, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Get on over there.
That's good. We're so far.
Yeah, it's so close. Oh, we just froze time. We saved the paint can from tipping over. It's an old reference.